Talk like Coach Carter.
I can't. Okay. Things to say.
I'm ready.
Okay. Hey, John. I have a question for you.
Okay.
What's your greatest fear?
Basketball.
Think about it.
Yeah. Basketball?
Is it No, stop.
No. That's what this movie is about, though.
I'll go again.
That's my answer. I don't have an answer to that.
You don't have an answer right now?
No, yeah.
Because I thought it was very apropos right now. Because remember when we were doing that, there was that trend going on about Roman Empire for men?
Yes.
There's one going on now about greatest fears and how men and women answer differently.
Really?
And I just thought, what an apropos thing. Because we're talking about a movie where one question keeps coming up often. What is your greatest fear? Mm-hmm.
Is it inspired by this film, though? This TikTok
that would
trend?
be so strange.
That would be really bizarre, yeah.
What a quink dink.
Yeah.
For that to... But yeah.
What do men normally answer?
Well, the trend is that women say things like spider, water, whatever, but men just say things like, oh, death. Oh, loss of youth.
Yeah.
It's often things that are deeper than the surface.
It's often things that are inevitable.
also that. Yeah. I mean, y'all love a challenge.
Whereas women are just like, oh no, what if a spider was in my home?
Oh, what if my sheets are wet? It's like, that's a legit fear.
Man, ladies and their thoughts. They're always like thinking.
Every time I see a basketball, I'm like,
yeah.
Got me.
Every time. Whoa. To be fair, that's how like 50% of the NBA is like too as well. They're like surprised when they get a basketball. Every time I see a woman, I'm just like, what could you be thinking about? I'm just kidding.
I bet it's Coach Carter.
What's going on with your voice over there?
Can
you cough into the mic more, please? Yeah.
I am feeling comically sick. It's been so long, and it's not going away.
You sound shitty.
I think I might have got that medium C. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. The C minus.
COVID medium style.
Medium style.
No, you don't have COVID. You can taste things.
I can taste things.
Yeah.
My body feels.
Although I'm 100% sure you don't have COVID, but which is ironic because you are staunchly anti-vax.
Yeah.
You always have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Every time I get a booster, I'm like, not over my body, and then I get it anyway. But
when we were on a train in Spain, we both thought we were gonna die because there was some people there who were like, "I'm surprised you got off of this train alive
and didn't get sick." You immediately got sick.
No. I did get sick.
Yeah,
but I was surprised that those people who were coughing were still alive when we got off the train.
I mean, I think one time someone walked out with the lungs in their hands.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of them put it in their backpack.
There was a lady in front of us who moved seats and looked. She looked like there was a spider crawling on her head. From
holding a basketball.
Yeah, holding a basketball, being like, "What's your greatest fear?" And there was a dude who was coughing up multiple organs behind her, and she looked like she was in Train to Busan or something.
Yeah.
And this was a 30-minute ride, and I was like, I think the lady next to me is gonna die, and that guy is also gonna be dead. Yeah.
That train was 99% geriatrics, and then the two of us. So yeah, everybody got sick off of that train ride.
Yeah.
But not me, baby.
Not
I postponed it.
I got it and then gave it to you when you came home.
Hot.
Yeah.
Just how I like it.
So I've been, you're not going to ask me how I am, so I'll just launch into it. I've been involuntarily released from the shackles of corporate bondage.
Yes!
Let's put it that way.
Woo, 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 woo.
So everything about this podcast, starting at least 4 or 5 episodes from now, is going to get a lot better after I have a strong phase of alcoholism. But really, now I'm able to pursue my dream of becoming the world's foremost new metal influencer.
Why?
So I'm
Why?
gonna be starting a new podcast series.
Yeah.
And I've got 2 names, and I want you to tell me which one I should go for.
Oh my gosh, go on.
Pod on a Leash,
Okay.
or the chocolate podfish and the pod dog flavored water.
I am. Listen, unless you want me to choke on my own laughter and die,
Yeah.
you gotta stop yourself. Like the new ceiling was right there, but okay, go off, King.
Yeah, but it doesn't reference a song by Korn. And speaking of which, my first episode will be about why isn't Korn considered one of the more influential bands of our generation?
It's true.
Backwards K and everything.
It's
You
true.
know what's interesting about Korn? Did they have a backwards K or backwards R?
Backwards R.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what though? A lot of people don't know this. The O is also backwards. You just can't tell.
It's corn.
Because it's symmetrical.
It's got the juice.
So anyway, guys, tune in. I'm going to be launching that pretty quickly, so I'll have a lot of time on my hands. And I wish my former colleagues best of luck. I wish Pri good luck with her cough,
My life.
with her COVID-18 or whatever, her minor COVID that she has. And those people we saw die on that train, I also think I wish their families the best.
My gosh.
Today, after that confusing intro, we're not talking about corn or trains.
Or COVID.
We're talking about Freak on a Leash. No, we're talking about Coach Carter.
Rich what?
A film that we kind of had to get out of the way because we watched it over in Spain, and then we were like, we got to do this because we can't watch it here.
Yeah,
Couldn't find it anywhere. I think it's on Paramount Plus, but you know what? I have something strong to say to Mr. and Mrs. Paramount, the CEOs of Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Get a better streaming service.
I mean, truly.
Like, Paramount Plus is so stupid because I had it for like a week to watch Benjamin Button.
That's right.
Actually. And I was like, it's all it services to do in this world is to lock like 10 really good movies behind a paywall and just be like, you can never have these ever unless you pay us a monthly. And it's like, that's not enough. No. And yet there's like 10 very good fucking movies in there.
Invariably, those are the ones we do want to watch, and it's not on any other platform. Somehow they've borrowed themselves into our brains and be like, these are the ones we're going to lock down. So you got to pay the fuck up, bucko.
It's like such a frustrating, like,
how do they know?
Which is like, okay, I understand that like every streaming service kind of does that, but for some reason, like Paramount, in my opinion, is like, it's egregious because you have like every Mission Impossible, all of the Godfathers, The Talented Mr. Ripley,
my God,
2 other good movies, and just a raft of horse shit.
It's wild.
Yeah, like
all of this is on Netflix in Spain.
I know, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Figure it out, Paramount.
Figure your shit out. So Coach Carter.
My God.
It would be so funny if I go back and realize Coach Carter isn't even by Paramount at all. And like, I just trash them for no reason.
Well, facts are facts still.
But you know what? I'm a bit of a freak on a leash, and it's good reason to trash them because Paramount Plus fucking sucks.
You're a freak off a
My
leash,
greatest
my guy.
fear is someone being like, the only streaming service you can have is Paramount Plus.
Legit. That's legit. Chills.
So this movie is awesome.
My God.
Yeah.
Audience rating, 85%. Rotten Tomato critics rating, 64%. This is why nobody's happy
anymore.
You know what,
though? Roger Ebert liked this movie.
Yeah.
And his review is the only one I read, and it was good. One interesting thing about this movie, besides the basketball and the push-ups and the suicides, of which you owe me $2,000 each, is this is actually, along with our many movies we've covered, this movie actually explores masculinity from a positive lens, what it takes to create a man in a way, or like a good member of society, but also like, it's not to say that like, I mean, this movie has one female character, and
and
so
she's
like
pregnant.
To be fair, and like, but this movie is like through a very masculine lens because of that. But I would say it's probably one of the more positive ones that like, you know, teens should watch.
Totally. All I want from a sports film is for it to make me cry. It's the only reason I would want to watch it. If it's gonna be like, hey, numbers and facts, check it out. Hey, groups, battling. Nah, man.
Are you telling me Moneyball didn't make you sob uncontrollably at the end?
All I wanted was to hug myself and cry for having to. Oh my God, no! I want just dudes to hug each other,
Sabermetric.
hold each other in celebratory, tears.
Embrace, yeah.
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah.
And this movie, just 10 out of 10. Hugs, tears, sometimes
It's
both at the same time.
It's like a real feel-good movie, but I think that's kind of maybe the problem with it is like it's a little too sappy,
Sure. But none of this movie would work if it wasn't for literally the one person carrying it, Sam Jackson.
Great performance. Like
Excellent
one of his
performance.
best performances.
Hands down. It's not even imaginable for to me to think of Coach Carter as anyone else but him. And I don't know if I would have. It's like Dead Poet Society with Sam Jackson.
Okay.
Immediately elevated.
Hold on, like soft pitch. Recasting Coach Carter.
Okay.
2005.
All right.
You are the director.
Mm-hmm.
Conveniently named Thomas Carter.
Yeah.
No relation.
Mm-mm.
You have two people to cast from.
Okay.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
The other man walks in, and it's Woody Allen.
Thank God you didn't say Charlie Day, because I was going to be like, yeah, definitely.
Charlie Day was 12 years old when this film came out. Okay?
He was about the same height.
You can't laugh because then you cough up your lungs.
There's no joy allowed in this pod.
I remember when I watched this, one of the weird comps that I thought a lot about when watching this was The Wire.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this movie is obviously a little more schlocky and silly than The Wire. But like, that season of The Wire when they're in high school and you're just like, oh, so these kids are like locked in prison all day.
Yep.
And it's like awful and they're just like nightmares. And then like it's like they're locked in prison and then the prison guards also just happen to be there and they're just like, I don't want to be locked in prison all day either. And like
it's
this
so
school,
depressing.
So I didn't grow up in the United States and even where I grew up, where I went to high school, it was like, I think considered like one of the lowest kind of ranked high schools for everything in British Columbia, which is like not surprising because it's from a very small town. But it was like nothing like this. Like there was nothing like this. It was like mostly good and fine. But then when you see some places like in the United States where you're just like, is school like this where they go through like metal detectors and stuff? Like what wildness is this? It's so insane to me as like a person who grew up with plenty of privilege. Like,
For a time, we had metal detectors in my school in India. But we do have it everywhere else, too. You have it at the train station, bus station, cinema halls, anywhere you go.
Your parents'
you gotta,
house, yeah.
My doorstep. Yeah. Everywhere you gotta,
the bathroom door in your parents' apartment.
Totally. Yeah. You can't have pants on anywhere else. No, you gotta... Yeah, it's just the way we are shaped now as a result of the decisions we made as a society.
But it's so wild to me to see that in the United States where like obviously...
When children are involved, especially.
Yeah, like obviously there's lots of like places in the U.S. that don't have that. But then in this like Richmond, California, which is a downtrodden economically kind of area where as Sam Jackson, one of the best scenes is this when he gives that speech in the library and he's like, I actually watched it today. Like I was like, I gotta rewatch some of these scenes and I watched it today where he's like, I walked through by the classroom and like this high school only graduates X amount of people.
Yeah.
So when you walk by a classroom, maybe one person is going to graduate. Like maybe one person will go to college.
Yeah.
And then he's like, where do you think that puts you guys? And then they're like, I don't know. And he's like, well, if you're a young African-American man, probably in jail. And it's like, it's a very stark and interesting reality.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I found that speech like very effective because it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was really good.
It kind of reminds me of that Roger Ebert review you were talking about where... Again, like Sam Jackson kind of refused to work with 50 Cent on one of his movies.
You read that.
Yeah. Where he's like, well, I don't want to carry on the rhetoric of a young black man either only making it in a career in rap or sports. And then in this movie, it kind of does the same thing. It's like, if you don't do this, you go to jail.
Do you want to talk about the comp that Roger Ebert used to talk about who he was he was compared to? It's a little tough to read now, but he was like the Ken Carter character is like doing the Bill Cosby thing of kind of trying to be against the notion that the only success for a young black man in society is in sports or in rap.
Yeah.
Right. And like that there's a system, as Coach Carter says, there's a system designed for these young men to fail. It's also built to convince them that there is no success in academics.
Right.
You know, not academia, the structure, but like getting good grades and going to college and doing all that kind of stuff, right?
It's basically Snakes on a Plane, except I've had it with these motherfucking games. Not getting enough motherfucking grades. All right.
I've had it with these suicides.
Yeah. English, motherfucker, do you pass it?
I mean, Samuel Jackson, like, I think this movie would be better if it was rated R and he could swear, because there's like moments where you're just like, I need that Sam Jackson flavor.
And not one.
No, it's like G rated. I think
the cleanest he's ever been.
I think it would be PG because the one guy does get shot. I found that thing is so interesting what you said about 50 Cent though, because if I recall correctly, so 50 Cent, did he Get Rich or Die Trying?
Yeah.
Got made.
Yep.
Which I've never seen before.
No.
Do you want to hear a really weird fact about that?
What?
Do you know who wrote Get Rich or
No.
Die Trying? Terrence Winter, the oft writer for The Sopranos and the creator of Boardwalk Empire, the writer of Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh my.
Academy Award nominated and maybe win. I don't know. Like Terrence Winter, who's like a
like 6
really
things on
big
his
deal.
plate.
He's a huge deal.
Jeez.
Yeah, and he wrote that movie, which I've never seen. But would that be the one that Sam Jackson refused to be in?
That's the one.
Yeah.
He said he wanted like 50 Cent to have more reps under his belt as a movie star before. At least he shoot it off in this way.
It's funny because Sam Jackson like only started acting when he was like 100 years old.
Yeah, I know. It's like, come on.
But no, like I understand. Like, so what it reminded me of a lot is like when we were in high school, around when this film came out, yet another banger from Big 05, baby. The best year on record. Mark it. When this movie came out and 50 Cent was just tearing up the charts, like I remember the kind of large moral panic-ish around like rap and hip-hop that had obviously been continuing on since the 90s.
Sure.
But like NWA started this like moral panic because people were like, how can black people have these feelings? And then it kind of like died a little down, and then Eminem came up and people were like, how can a white man have these feelings by using a primarily black method of expressing himself?
Of course.
And then and then 50 Cent, like rap kind of boomed again after with like Eminem. But I do remember like because of someone like Eminem, like rap was such a like, it became another kind of thing to focus on that was wrong in society.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just found that really interesting because like 50 Cent was his like he like kind of celebrated being a gangster much.
Right.
Like so much of the machismo of that.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie is like a counterpoint to that. And it's interesting that Samuel Jackson not only turns down a role in Get Rich or Die Trying, I assume,
right,
to be in a movie that's like the exact opposite of that.
To not glorify that for, yeah. Because it's been done. It's been done. Like, there's TV shows that are about it.
Name one. Okay.
There's already content about doing that. There's also, is this movie an MTV production?
I think so.
So, and it looks it, okay.
But
like,
MTV was, it's not like MTV only ever made bad movies.
No.
Yeah.
And which is why part of this, like, poor rating from a critic point of view, I think falls to that. Because it kind of becomes this, like, predictable kind of, you know where it's going, you know where it's coming from movie, even though like the reception is like 85% and people love it and they
like
think of it fondly.
It's such a feel-good film.
Totally. It's inspirational. It's got comedy when it needs it, and it just does the job.
I think that I assume, even though I only read Roger's thing, was like I assume that a lot of the poor rating was that like it's just too predictably saccharine.
Yeah.
And like too inspirational, and
this could be a music video.
And like the stakes are like they just don't seem that high, and then it's just so like on the nose, like fuck yeah, Coach Carter. When in reality, I have to bring this up. Now, this is important. I have a conspiracy theory about Ken Carter.
Shit.
And yes, I'm using his real name, Ken Carter.
Oh my God.
So he owns a sporting goods store. You know where I'm going. I may have mentioned this.
Yeah, okay, go on.
Can we really believe that he didn't become the coach?
Yeah.
Inspire this team to go on like an undefeated run. just so he could sell jerseys out of his store and make a huge profit.
He's a marketing genius.
Seriously.
All right. Yeah.
Seriously.
He's got the brand on lock.
And then you know what? You know what's so interesting? He completely steers into the controversy skid of locking the gym and putting himself in the media.
Totally.
He's always in the public eye about it.
Yep.
And yeah, like, oh yeah, so you know, it's like new Coke. Like, yeah, he dives down a little bit, but then when he brings it back, everyone's like, Ken, I never doubted you. Give me another 10 jerseys of Channing Tatum, please. My entire family needs a Channing Tatum
Dead,
jersey.
empty eyes. Yeah. Nothing going on. Not one thought being
Channing Tatum is fucking something else.
Tumbleweed, my guy.
Like him and I think it's Rob Brown is the other actor who've like continued on. I think, God, Rob Brown.
Is it Kenyan? Is it the actor who plays Kenyan?
Oh, I don't remember. I'm sorry. He's the one who's with Ashanti.
Right. Yes, that is him.
He's been in so many other things. I cannot think off the top of my head. But like, it's so funny because I've seen him so much recently, and then I was like, oh shit, he was like in Coach Carter. But then him and Channing Tatum, you kind of remember. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the short guy who mustache, curly hair. He's been in things.
Timo Cruz.
Not
to the extent that Channing Tatum.
No,
has, or
not
even
not
Rob
close.
Brown.
Not close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like, what happened to Samuel L. Jackson? He just fell off the map.
Unheard of. Something about a snake. I don't know.
He did go on next year. I believe the next film he made was Black Snake Moan. Have you ever seen Black Snake Moan?
The fuck?
You've never seen that movie?
What? Is this real?
Yeah, it's so weird.
No.
Yeah.
Moan?
Yeah, Black Snake Moan is... Okay, hold on. I want to look this up.
Oh, some things are hurting.
Well, you're going to hurt more when you hear more about this movie, so I want to look it up.
Is this a euphemism?
So Craig Brewer, the director, who I don't know anything about. I've seen 2 of his films, but most prominently, he directed before Black Snake Moan, also a 2005 film, Hustle and Flow, the Terrence Howard film.
Right.
Before Terrence Howard went on to be a totally normal guy and did just normal things. Completely normal. Yeah. Terrence Howard, totally normal. Look it up. But yeah, he does Black Snake Moan, which is, I've seen it one time. We could cover it on the pod, but I've seen it one time.
Oh boy.
And it's a movie starring Justin Timberlake, Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh man.
And Christina Ricci. Timberlake post Alpha Dog.
Okay.
From what I recall, it's about Christina Ricci, who's qu'est-ce que c'est une loose woman a little bit around this old southern town. She gets around, or at least that's the impression that Samuel L. Jackson's character has.
Okay.
And so Samuel L. Jackson takes it upon himself to chain her up in his house and to wait the demons out of her or something.
Oh.
Well, yeah. Well, Justin Timberlake is like, hey, don't do that to my girl. And like, I don't really recall much else.
Shimona.
It's such a weird movie. Let's do it on the pod.
Oh my God. That seems like one of those like recesses of our memories where people have fully either forgotten about it or don't know it exists and then pull this out.
100%. Like it's a movie. Yeah, of course. It's just like, no.
Incredible.
No, you don't need that film in your life.
Not in your mind.
We can give it to you on the pod though. we might do that.
Coming up next 55 minutes, baby.
People are screaming for it at home.
People are moaning.
People's
for
black
it.
snakes are moaning.
Sick.
Okay.
Love it. Love it. This Coach Carter though, man, you could cut this movie by 40 minutes, I think, and it would be tight. I feel like as I was watching it, I was like, all right, I've seen about enough. And then it still keeps giving, but not the giving that I want to receive. You know?
Jaffiel? One of the issues I think I have this, and I'm going to contrast this with another movie that I really like, which a lot of people really like, which is also a feel-good basketball movie. Mm-hmm. Ben Affleck's The Way Back, which I watched at your house, but you were busy. You were doing something nice, like cooking me dinner or something lovely.
Classic. What else?
Yeah, classic. And I was like, hey, this movie fucking rules. And
sports,
and
am I right?
Like, wow, great, John. Great that your movie was fun. Do you want this food that I've slaved over or what?
But then you said it was Ben Affleck, and then I had to like get you a weighted blanket. But like, you can get through this, babe.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
That movie is really good. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. But it's also like a feel-good kind of masculinity examining film, and Ben Affleck is fantastic in it.
Nice.
The good thing about The Way Back, and the issue I kind of have with this movie is like, and to be fair, this is kind of the issue I have with a lot of Sam Jackson's roles, and I think it speaks to how he kind of selects his roles, is like he doesn't seem to like roles where you have to know a lot about the characters. Like, you don't end up knowing a lot about Ken Carter outside of basketball coach, business owner. This is what I believe.
Right.
And like, it doesn't really delve much into him personally.
No.
It doesn't really stem from him. Like, he's actually kind of, to get a little nerdy, he's like kind of the antagonists to the young men.
Right.
Because like, I'm not sure if he really goes through a change.
Oh yeah,
You
not
know?
at all. And
Yeah.
like, he's kind of the savior, and he comes in and just like does his magical thing, and yeah.
Yeah, but at times too, he's kind of like a Darth Vader figure who's just there to create this change in these young men.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie, that in that regard, doesn't really have a full-time protagonist. It has about 5 medium protagonists,
Right.
and who are like Rob Brown, Channing Tatum, Timo Cruz, Kenyon, and then Skills, or who's the other guy?
His son, like.
Not even his son though. Like, his son is pretty minor.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know. It's really interesting. It's
the
interesting
opposing basketball team's lead guy who like intimidates Richmond. I guess that guy maybe
I don't
comes
know.
up. But yeah.
But like, I think that's kind of an issue with the movie, and that's why see, that's the thing, is like, that's why it feels like you can cut it down, but you could actually add more. You know?
Yeah, there's no. And in my first watch, I feel like, and this is when I was much, much younger, I thought we learned a lot about each of their families or their background, like with Kenyon being with a pregnant teenage girlfriend.
Kenyon is the center. He's the tall guy. I don't think Rob Brown. I don't think that's Kenyonite.
Let's just look it up. Yes, Rob Brown is Kenyon.
Oh, he is? Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's all good. Antoine Tanner is Worm. Worm's kind of a character.
That's the one. That's the guy. Not Skills.
You're thinking of Worm?
Yeah, he's
okay. Yeah,
he's great in this movie.
He's
too,
great.
by the way. Yeah.
Also, great name. Just good.
Yeah.
Good choice. Yeah. Between these 4 or 5 people, it's like, all right, you could just play another year because their grades are fine. They're playing sports okay, so it's not really much of a stakes for them anyway.
But it is though. Like, that's the thing is this is why I think of like Coach Carter as like the antagonist, right? Just because he's the one who causes them. He has to twist the knob and like ramp up the stakes, because when like as he tells them, we're going to the plot a little bit, but like as he tells them, he's like, these are these contracts. You have to do these things in these contracts, and he's like, these contracts are not unreasonable. You should be able to follow them if you're disciplined, and you need discipline to play basketball well. So it all kind of jives. And then when he finds out, which he has to kind of go through, he has to like punch through a wall to find out what the fuck is going on. And then when he finds out, he's the one who's like, Jim, locked. Y'all are learning now.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because like, it's not just between the students and the basketball players and Coach Carter. It's between him, the students' other teachers, the school system, their parents. Everyone has to kind of agree to this contract where teachers don't even bother grading these kids for half the time.
That's like the conflict, right? It's like, it's funny. He comes in to be a coach.
Yeah.
And then he ends up fighting this like a system, an educational system.
So the system is the Darth Vader then.
Sort of, but like it's not like we're just like pitching this film basically, but like it's because like he was saying, the system is designed for them to fail, and it's kind of like you can see it's a little bit designed through like apathy, kind of,
yeah,
or
100%.
like the exhaustion, because like
totally.
I'm gonna say something controversial, but I think teachers are overrated. I think they're some of the most overpaid, lazy people on earth.
Fucking do nothing.
Like they do nothing. They don't have anything real. Like
just chill too much.
I'm just saying, they don't add anything to society, and why don't we get AI to do it? That's all I'm saying. And that's not. I don't think that's a controversial take to have.
Not at all.
No, I mean, like obviously he's like fighting against a system in which everyone is kind of exhausted by it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And Mr. Ken Carter Moneybags, I can sell all these jerseys. No, like he's like,
I have a plan for you, sharks.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's a really interesting kind of thing. And about his like character, one of the things as a sports person myself, as a sports guy who does sports, I think every person who maybe plays sports or wants to do something at like a high level, they like kind of want someone like Coach Carter in their life.
Yeah.
Which is why when you watch this movie, even yourself as a non-sports guy, you kind of see that it's like, yeah, but like in some regards, I want a person like that in my life.
Yeah.
Who is like tough and fair, but also when you challenge them, they can give you a reason behind why they are the way they are.
Yeah.
And why they think you should be doing, I found that really fascinating.
Oh, especially when you don't have, when you're lacking certain amount of aim, then it's nice to be led by someone who's confident that way.
Yeah.
And
I think it's like particularly poignant with Timo, who Timo is like their best player, who he basically in the twist of all twists, he like kicks him off the team at first, and like, which is really interesting as a sports guy. Myself, a sports guy who thinks that teachers are a waste of time. No, like as a sports fellow, you sometimes see, I remember playing against players who you see, and they even get up to like professional level, who are just kind of like, they're so good that they think they just deserve to just not have to work at it, basically.
Right.
And like what Coach Carter is teaching him, that it's like, you don't just because you have talent doesn't mean that you don't have to work for this. And also talent just doesn't last forever without work, basically. I find that really interesting.
There was a great moment when they're reading their reviews in the paper. They're all in the gym and they're kind of talking about how well they did or how poorly they did. I don't remember exactly, but they pass the paper to one of the guys on the team.
Well. Yeah.
And they do well, right.
Yeah.
They pass it to someone on the team, and then everybody kind of makes fun of him because he doesn't know how to read, because he pauses so much.
Yeah, the center.
The center, the tall guy.
Name, I forget.
Tall basketball guy. I thought if they had gone...
Can you call him sports fellow?
You're right.
Just to be respectful.
Little big man sports fellow. I thought it would have been so kind of mushy and schmeh if he really didn't know how to read. And then if it was like, oh, Coach Carter taught him how to read and now he goes to college. It was like, no.
He did go to college, though.
He did, and he knew how to read. They were just kind of exaggerating the point,
also,
just because he stammers a little bit.
But I also think, like, he doesn't know how to read very well for a guy in high school.
No.
Like, that's kind of like an example of the
dire
straits that these guys are in.
Yeah.
Because it is like...
Because he's such a good star player, he doesn't feel the need to have to read.
Well... No,
that he doesn't come to class.
I just don't think. I think a lot of the players don't feel the need to get an education. They don't see what the point is. Right.
Yeah, and it's a true story. Not that the teachers are terrible. Also, that's also
they were
true.
all fired. Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
But the whole Ken Carter real guy.
It's a true story from 1999, I think, when this took place.
Damn.
Yeah.
So
That's why Ashanti is dressed that way. This is not a joke. I think like my first serious girlfriend in high school, her like style icon was Ashanti in this film.
Fuck yeah.
Because there's a point where Ashanti shows up and she has like this extremely tight ponytail.
Yep.
That's just like between, like she has the rest of the hair down and then her ponytail pulled back really tight. And I was like, I remember I had a panic attack. So I was like, I think I dated a girl who looked like that. Who did that look a lot, and I broke up with her when I fucking dunked on her.
You're greatest for your basketball.
She was like, I want to learn how to play basketball, and every time she tried to shoot, I just fucking out the court.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, every time I smack this ball out of the court, 2,000 suicides, you owe me.
That's right, baby.
She did not like that.
It's called empowerment. Look it up.
But it was kind of okay because she's not a good person.
That's what I love about you. It's just great. Great. Yeah. Dunking on these hoes.
She was stressed from the hair thing.
Yeah, man.
From how tight the hair
was.
She's
wound too tight.
She was like, it's hurting my eyes.
It's like, why are you smiling with your whole teeth? I am not.
You know that scene in Men in Black?
Men in Black with the cockroach guy.
Vincent D'Onofrio pulls his entire face back. Yeah.
Sugar.
She looks like Vincent D'Onofrio.
Hot as hell.
For some reason, I had a huge crush on her. So we don't have to go closer into that. Okay? I've moved on.
Oh, sorry.
She couldn't even score a point against me.
Oh, damn it.
All right. Do you want to go into the plot?
Let's get into the plot. Let's do it.
I was incredibly lazy this time around, even though I have all this time on my hands. I was incredibly lazy and just kind of copied and pasted the plot.
It's all
So
good.
essentially, Coach Carter, former basketball player, set some records at Richmond High School, Richmond, California.
That's right.
Big C. He gets asked by like a guy who's like a colleague or whatever. He's like, "Hey, come coach these people. I can't control this team. I got to get out of here. I hate this."
Yeah.
And Coach Carter was like,
I'm moving to Baltimore.
Coach Carter saw a business opportunity and was like, if this can get more money for my sports store, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So he comes in. Obviously, these kids are all hard nuts, and he gets them to like sign these contracts basically. And the contracts say, what do they say? C minus average
at the very least. Yep.
C minus average. Sit in front row in class.
Yeah. Wear a tie and
wear
a
a
suit.
suit and tie on game day.
That's right.
And obviously, not in class. He doesn't say in class. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
He knows the limit.
That's true.
Obviously, no one likes that. They all think that's not cool. And neither do the parents, which is... So...
Is every parent Octavia Spencer?
Yeah, she plays every one of them.
Everyone's
actually.
mom and dad is Octavia Spencer.
So
cool.
There's like a couple things. These like interesting pushbacks with Coach Carter. Okay, so the parents, right? Because the parents become later involved when he locks them out of the gym, they become more involved. My impression of like parents today is that they're all kind of fucking mental, and like this would
reasonable.
never.
Yeah.
They would fucking drag this guy on the site formerly known as Twitter.
Yes.
People would be like, I think Coach Carter's a pedophile.
Yeah.
Actually.
Cancel him physically
like,
from life.
It would be like he would be the Twitter main character of the
100%.
day if this ever fucking happened today.
Could you imagine?
He would
like
be
this...
fucking Coach Bean Dad Carter over here. Yeah.
Just been booted. First of all, he lifts this team from nothing, 100 losses to like this
undefeated.
Yeah, to now being undefeated.
Yeah.
Right? And then now the parents want to swoop in and take credit for like, I'll actually teach my son the way to sport.
Well, later on, we'll get to that when he locks the gym. But like, yeah, he takes him being undefeated and they forfeit one game from the locked up gym. That scene, the scene where they're voting on the like whether to reopen the gym. That's one of the better scenes. It's really good.
Yeah.
And also like the principal gives him the fucking shut up and dribble treatment, which is really ironic because later she votes for him.
Of course.
Do you know what I'm referring to when I say shut up and dribble?
No.
This is so dumb. Do you know who Laura Ingraham is?
No.
She was a I don't want to say anything shocking to you. She was a fucking white lady who used to work for Fox. I think she used to. I think she still does.
Oh.
And like LeBron James one time, like he made the very controversial statement that Donald Trump wasn't a great president, and she told him to shut up and dribble.
Really?
Yeah. She said that.
Ooh.
She was like, I don't think we should take political advice from someone who gets paid $100 million a year to bounce a ball. And yeah, so that was funny because LeBron James was like, I don't know who you are. Like, I don't know who you are, but if you want to play one-on-one, I will fucking knock
dunk
your ass
on your
out.
head. So the high school principal does the same thing.
Also kind of says like,
hey,
why
shut
don't
up and
you
dribble.
like stick to coaching? And Ken Carter was like, I want to get these motherfucking balls on this motherfucking court.
Woo!
At practice, he begins like them on a very strict training, like where he was just like, you guys like playing basketball, right? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, cool, run forever.
Yeah.
And do push-ups until you're dead.
Dude.
Basically.
Small fact about my life. I just started to do yoga after 10 years of not moving. And the yoga lady, who is easily 106 years old, everybody in class is like Agnes or Edna or Ethel, crushing push-ups.
Yeah.
Just like, they're doing 10 easy, not breaking a sweat. I did one push down and I stayed there.
Yeah. Child's pose, baby.
It's not a good look for me. And so when in the movie he casually is like, all right, drop and give me 500. What does that mean? What does that mean? The body can't do.
It's like, I actually was like, I don't know if that's possible.
If like, I know they're young and athletic and, 12 and they can probably crush 50, but he's talking in hundreds and thousands like it's nothing.
Well, the crazy thing is that like moving on in the plot, Coach Carter's son comes to join the team. He's like a gifted basketball player. Certainly helps. His father's the coach.
Cool.
But also Timo comes back to Timo, who quit the team, and then he's like they're kind of one of their best players. Also dealing drugs on the side. He returns and asks to be back on the team because for the love of the game. And Coach Carter is like, you owe me like, it's like, was it like 2,000 suicides
2,000,
or something?
Yeah.
And like 1,500 push-ups or some crazy thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, if you can do them by Friday, welcome back.
That's like 4 days from now or something crazy.
Yeah, it was like midweek. And so he like tries to do them. And then the team eventually is like, well, we're a team. We'll help him.
Yeah.
Very touching moment. Love it. In the meantime, they're fucking winning every game because they're in good shape. And then he's also teaching them plays that are named after his exes, which is very funny.
And
Delilah.
his sister and his other women in his family, and it's great.
I had a friend, speaking of high school, I had a friend who used to, when we were in gym class together, and no matter what sport we played, he would yell Delilah at me. So like we'd be playing soccer, we'd be playing fucking cricket because my PE teacher was English, and he'd be like, Delilah, Delilah, Delilah.
Fuck yeah, love it.
It was great.
Love it.
Yeah, he was a funny guy. He also did his hair like Ashanti.
You can't get away from these people. It's great.
He was way taller than me, so I couldn't dunk on him. Yeah.
But he held you in like a nice embrace. Sweet. Just like Ashanti do.
I mean, they just win. That's really what happens.
Yeah.
They win until, and then like during a road trip or whatever, they get in trouble because they go partying. But like really the crux of the film is like they're winning. They're the best team in fucking California. And then Coach Carter finds out. Finally, the teachers give him the status reports. And he's basically like, we are no more practice, no more games. We're studying here until those grades come up.
Right.
Which is great. Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
He gives a speech about if you grew up in Richmond, you're 80% more likely to go to jail than the average black man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good scene. Samuel Jackson is fantastic.
Yeah.
And then there's the scene with the vote on whether to open the gym, and he basically says, he's like, if I lose this vote, I will quit the team.
That's
I will
right.
no longer be the coach.
That's right.
What I love about that scene so much is that the principal is like, she talks about it like very frankly, and then like you think she is against it, and then when she's like, I will open the voting by voting that we keep the gym closed, it's like such a fucking yes, fucking get it.
I know. Yeah. And there's like so many good sports movies that give you that feeling of like, just freaking yeah. I just wanted that to last so much longer. Mm-hmm. But it kind of comes and goes through other people kind of validating what Coach Carter's been trying to do for the whole movie. And it only happens maybe once or twice.
And he gives a good speech in that scene about like, the theme of the film. Like he basically talks about the theme where he's just like, it's more important that they fucking go to college.
Yeah, it's more important to get, they have a life outside of this.
The funny thing is that like none of these guys made the NBA. They played in college, but none of them ever like made this their career. And so ultimately like he's vindicated in the fact that it's that is because I don't know, like making the NBA really hard. You can be a savvy political analyst like LeBron James and still make the NBA and be an MVP. Yeah. Yeah.
You could become Laura Ingraham.
She played one season, but she was out of the league.
She got
quick.
dunked on hard, man.
She wore like a fake mustache and was like, I'm Larry Bird Jr. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Sorry. Man, Laura Ingraham just catching strays on this episode. She doesn't deserve it.
Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought?
Yeah, and then basically, but he loses the vote, and he's like, well, fuck, I'm going to resign. And then he goes to the gym to find that the students are like, we're library guys now.
Yeah.
We're learning, fellas.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. When Timo Cruz kind of gets up to do that little my captain speech for him. He's like, it's great.
Fuck yeah, man.
Even the poem that he quotes, so powerful, so cool.
Yeah.
Where he answers the question that he's been asking the whole time, like, what is your greatest fear?
Greatest fear? Yeah.
And he says, our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And then some.
Chills.
Yeah. Dunk on you, Laura Ingraham.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. I mean, then they go into a finals game against some other team and they fucking lose, and that's the end.
Classic.
But really, the winning was the friends they made along the way, kind
That's
of
right.
literally, and
It
also
100%
the fact
is
that
that.
they got an education, and like everyone on the team went to fucking college.
Yeah.
I think even the like minor characters whose only job was to kind of like look surprised and shake their head in disbelief, I think they also went to college too.
They also went to college. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all from a red state. They were meant to do it. That's weird.
Babe, it's California.
No, the
I don't
opposing.
actually know the difference.
The opposing.
Who is blue and who is red? Because it's actually swapped in Canada.
Blue is Democrat, red
Blue
is
is Democrat, red is-
Republican.
right.
In the U.S., at least.
Yeah, because reds are liberals here, and blues are conservatives.
Is that for fucking real?
Yeah,
How
the
am I only
conservative colors are blue.
What a classic switcheroo. That's how they get you.
Classic Canada. I don't want to cast aspersions on. I'm sure we have a huge base of listeners who are conservative voters. That's just who we fucking vibe with. But
Especially when we're like, teachers fucking suck.
I don't think like the Conservative Party likes this film. I think they would be like,
Nah.
let's let AI do it.
Let the kids play. Rich what?
Rich what? Yeah. This
Yeah.
movie's good.
Tight. Why do you think this movie just works? Why do you think it was so high on audience rating but not so much on the critics? Like, why is the disparity between 65 to 85%?
Critics are miserable people, for one.
100%.
Including ourselves. I
Agreed.
It strains me to call what we do even adequate criticism. Oh, you know critics who talk about movies that no one's ever seen and that are 400 years old? Yeah. That's criticism.
Yeah.
This is film
We're
criticism.
balls deep in it.
Like balls deep in
That's my
05,
critical
baby.
review. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
I think you should start a letterbox that's just like this movie's just balls.
3 out of 5 balls.
Somehow mentions balls deep in every little small review. You know what? I've been talking about starting a letterbox for our pod. Maybe I'll fucking do that.
That's it. That's it.
I think, okay, I can't think of a counter example right now, but okay, critics are miserable people. They've seen every fucking movie that's come out, basically. And I think this movie, what it works for audiences is because it balances on the edge of being too sentimental, but it actually hits the target almost right on, kind of. It's like with a little bit more sugar, it could topple over the edge and not be. I think I said this about time as well. It's like with a little bit more, it could be too fucking cloying and annoying.
It'd be saccharine.
But this one is kind of like, also, quite honestly, the stakes in this movie are like realistically relatable. Yeah. That you're just kind of like, yeah, I fucking get that. It gets that vibe of being like, I want to be someone who means something to someone else.
Yeah. I know we're dunking on it as a joke, but like, what a noble, incredibly hard thing to do, where you're like beating against the fucking system and you're not even getting paid anything for it, and then you get beat up by trying to even do something worth a single fuck.
To be Coach Carter or be a teacher?
What's the difference, right?
The thing that is kind of like darkly ironic and funny is that it's like teachers' jobs, and they've been educated to be like to change the lives of students in a way.
Yeah.
Not that they all think that way. I don't think that every teacher is like, I'm going in today to inspire everybody. Like, I don't really believe that. And it's fine if you don't also. Like, I don't, like, it's totally cool. And then for it to have this fucking sporting goods store guy come in and be like the biggest deal.
Hey, he can do both, man. He's a strong, independent Coach Carter.
That's true. It's a good movie. I think that's why there is disparity. It's like, it doesn't topple over into just being like, you want to roll your fucking eyes out of your head. Yeah.
You get the good feels. You get the warm and fuzzies.
Yeah.
It just hits the right spot. If it was just shorter, I would love it more. But yeah, you know me. I'm about that sports match life.
You're a sports guy.
I'm a little sports guy.
Yeah.
I got a hoodie that says little sports guy.
Little sports.
Doing it. Woo! Pumped.
You done talking?
I am.
How's your...
I'm doing all right.
Yeah. All right, because I got a half hour more to go. So.
Okay.
Yeah, Coach Carter. Good movie.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
I feel like if it had more bangers in soundtrack, I think modern day Coach Carter would have an incredible playlist of songs.
The thing is because 2005 was like a great year for hip hop, but it
Yeah.
couldn't have a great soundtrack because they couldn't allow swears in it. Quite prominently, they feature Little John in it, and apparently the MPAA didn't realize what skeet 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 means because they have that all over the fucking
They
movie.
had the word skeet skeet in, but they're muted and kind of
but
censored
everything
every
it was
other.
that song was like they played like the censored version for the
Oh yeah.
because like it's like all these blanks crawl and things like that. But yeah, Skeet 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 made it into the movie.
Of course.
And
Hell yeah.
all right, we out of here.
We out of
Go
here.
play some basketball.
Rich what?
Rich
what? Oh, it's been the low ceiling.
Yeah, I'm John.
And I'm Free. Rich what?